The whistle blew like a gunshot in my chest, and the entire gym froze. 200 eyes drilling into me as Coach Harlan's voice cracked over the speakers. Elliot Hayes, you're off the team. Effective immediately. I stood there on the court, basketball tucked under my arm, sweat dripping down my face, the echo of my heartbeat drowning out the gasps, because in that split second, I knew. My secret was out, and small-town America had just drawn its line in the sand. It started with a text. One stupid, leaked photo from last summer's bonfire party. Me and Jake, my best friend since kindergarten, locked in a hug that looked too close, too real, under the flicker of firelight. By Monday morning, the whispers had turned to shouts in the locker room, and when I walked in for practice, the air smelled like betrayal and Axe body spray gone sour. I dropped the ball right there, letting it roll to the baseline like my whole world unraveling, and whispered to myself, this is it. Game over. I remember the drive home that afternoon like it was yesterday, even though it's been months now. The old Ford pickup my dad left me. Rusted fenders and a radio stuck on classic rock. Rattled over the potholes of Elm Street, the cornfields blurring into gold under the relentless Kansas sun. Harlan, Kansas. Population 2,347, home of the Harlan Hawks, where Friday nights under the floodlights were religion, and anything that didn't fit the playbook was heresy. I'd been the golden boy, point guard with a killer crossover and a dead-eye three-pointer, carrying us to state semis last year. College scouts were sniffing around, whispering about scholarships to KU or even Duke. And then, poof, gone. Mom was in the kitchen when I slammed through the screen door, her apron dusted with flour from the apple pie she baked every crisis. She took one look at my face, red-rimmed eyes, jersey still clinging damp to my shoulders, and dropped the rolling pin. Elliot? Baby, what happened? Couldn't hold it back. The words tumbled out in a rush. The photo, the team huddle turning cold, Coach's office reeking of stale coffee and judgment. He said it was a distraction, that the boosters wouldn't stand for it, that I'd ruin everything. My voice cracked on the last word, and I hated how small it made me sound. She pulled me into a hug, her hands steady on my back like they had been when I skinned my knee chasing fireflies at 6. Dad had been gone 3 years now, heart attack on the rig in Oklahoma, and she'd raised me solo, working doubles at the diner to keep the lights on. She never batted an eye when I told her about Jake last year, just squeezed my hand and said, "Love's love, kiddo. Don't let 'em tell you different." But this was Harlan's playbook, not ours. By evening, the phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Texts from numbers I recognized, fag, from Tommy the center, should have known, from half the cheer squad, and nothing crickets from Jake. I stared at my screen until the battery died, willing his name to pop up. We'd been inseparable since T-ball, him the cocky shooting guard to my strategist. Last summer, after too many beers at that bonfire, he'd leaned in, breath hot against my neck, and murmured, "This feels right, doesn't it?" Our first kiss tasted like s'mores and secrets, fireworks exploding in the dark. But now, silence. I hurled the phone across the room, shattering a lamp. Mom found me curled on the couch at midnight, the TV flickering some old John Wayne Western she loved. "Elliot," she said softly, sitting beside me, "you don't need their field to shine. You're more than a jersey." But I wasn't so sure. Basketball was my anchor, the rhythm that kept the grief at bay after Dad. Without it, who was I? Just the queer kid from the wrong side of the tracks, dodging sideways glances at the Piggly Wiggly. School the next day was a gauntlet. The hallways of Harlan High smelled like industrial cleaner and teenage regret, lockers slamming like accusations. I kept my head down, backpack slung low, but eyes followed me everywhere. In English, Mrs. Keller paused mid-sentence on The Great Gatsby, her chalk hovering like she wanted to erase me from the page. Lunch was worse. No Jake sliding into the seat across from me with his lopsided grin and pilfered fries. Instead, I ate alone in the parking lot, the asphalt baking under my butt, scrolling through anonymous DMs that ranged from "pray for you" to slurs that made my stomach twist. That's when I saw him for the first time. Transfer kid, new from Chicago or somewhere urban and unforgiving. He was leaning against the chain-link fence by the soccer field, sketchbook in hand, dark hair falling over eyes the color of storm clouds. Tall, lean like a runner, with a faded Blackhawks hoodie that screamed, "Not from around here." Our gazes locked for a beat too long. He didn't flinch, didn't smirk, just nodded like he saw me, really saw me, and kept drawing. His name was Riley Navarro. I learned that later from the roster taped to the gym door. Art geek, apparently, with a rep for murals that got him suspended back home. But something about him stuck, a quiet defiance that mirrored the storm brewing in my chest. Weeks blurred into a haze. I threw myself into odd jobs. Mowing lawns, stocking shelves at the hardware store. Anything to avoid the empty driveway where Dad's ghost used to shoot hoops with me. Mom worried, her eyes shadowed from late shifts, but she pushed me toward the community center's pickup games. "Keep moving, Elliot. That's how you heal." One rainy Tuesday, I showed up there, sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. The court was packed with ringers, ex-jocks, townies nursing grudges, and I carved through them like it was state finals, sinking jumpers that whispered promises of who I used to be. That's when Riley wandered in, dripping from the downpour, towel slung over his shoulder. "Mind if I join?" he asked, voice low and accented with that Windy City edge. I shrugged, tossing him the ball. "Only if you can keep up." He could. God, could he? Riley moved like poetry. Graceful drives, no-look passes that left defenders grasping air. We synced without words, me setting screens, him fading away for impossible shots. By game's end, sweat-soaked and breathless, we collapsed against the bleachers, sharing a Gatorade like it was the last one on earth. "You're good," he said, wiping his face. "Why aren't you playing varsity?" The question hung heavy. I stared at the scuffed floor, tracing the ghosts of old sneaker marks. Long story. Involves a coach with a Bible on his desk and a team that'd rather lose than win with me. Riley's jaw tightened, but he didn't pry. Instead, Chicago's full of long stories. Mine involves a dad who thought art was for sissies and a mom who packed my bags when he swung one too many times. He sketched idly on his knee, a quick outline of the court, us mid-play. But screw him. We make our own plays. That night, I texted Jake for the first time since the blow-up. "We need to talk." Hours later, his reply, "Can't. Busy." It stung like gravel in a cut, but Riley's words echoed. Maybe it was time to rewrite the script. Fall turned crisp, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle apologies. Harlan High buzzed with homecoming hype, banners fluttering from lampposts. The air thick with caramel apples and unspoken tensions. I avoided the pep rally, holing up in the library with a dog-eared copy of The Catcher in the Rye. Holden Caulfield got it, that ache for something real amid the phonies. But Riley found me, sliding into the corral with 2 vending machine cokes. "Hiding from the circus?" He popped his tab, fizz hissing like static. "Something like that." I took a swig, the cold biting sweet. "You going?" He snorted. "To watch straight kids grind on each other to bad pop? Nah. But there's an after-party at the quarry. Bonfire, stars. You in?" The quarry. Same spot as that night with Jake. My gut twisted, but Riley's eyes, steady, inviting, pulled me in. Yeah, why not? We rode together in his beat-up Civic, radio blasting indie tracks I'd never heard. Windows down to let the wind whip our secrets away. The fire crackled high when we arrived, casting shadows on faces I half knew. Stoners from Bio, the debate club misfits. No jerseys in sight, just flannels and freedom. Riley handed me a stick with marshmallows, our fingers brushing electric. "To new beginnings," he toasted, flames dancing in his irises. We talked for hours, about Dad's laugh lines, Mom's secret tattoo from her wild college days, Riley's dream of illustrating graphic novels set in dystopian cities where outcasts ruled. His voice wove stories like threads, pulling me closer until our shoulders touched, warmth seeping through denim. Then, headlights sliced the dark. Jake's truck, unmistakable with its lifted suspension and mud-splattered tires. He piled out with Tommy and the crew, beers in hand, laughter booming false. Our eyes met across the fire, his widening in shock, mine hardening to steel. Elliot, Jake slurred, weaving closer. What the hell, man? You ghost me. Now this. Riley tensed beside me, but I stood, chin up. Ghost you? You're the one who vanished when it got hard. The group hushed, flames popping like gunfire. Jake's face crumpled, hurt, booze loose. Coach said it'd tank the season. My dad, he's on the booster board. I didn't know what to. Save it. The words tasted like ash. Betrayal burned hotter than the bonfire. Every bro hug from summers passed twisting into lies. You chose them. Over us. He reached out, hand trembling. Elliot, please. I love. But Riley's voice cut clean. Time to go, Jake. Party's over for you. Jake staggered back, eyes glassy with unshed tears, then turned, vanishing into the truck's roar. The silence stretched, heavy as regret, until Riley murmured, You okay? I wasn't. But nodding, I leaned into him, his arm a steady anchor. For the first time since the whistle, I breathed. Winter clamped down on Harlan like a vice, snow blanketing the fields in deceptive peace, turning the world monochrome except for the glow of Christmas lights strung crooked on sagging porches. Mom and I trimmed our tree the day after Thanksgiving. Plastic one from the dollar store, ornaments chipped but cherished, while Bing Crosby crooned from the ancient stereo. She hummed along, hanging Dad's old Hawks keychain like a talisman, but her smiles didn't reach her eyes. The diner's tips had dried up with the cold, and whispers about that boy's trouble kept customers away. You're not trouble, Elliot, she said that night, tucking a quilt around me on the couch where I'd crashed after the quarry fallout. You're my miracle. I wanted to believe her, but mirrors lied. The guy staring back had hollow cheeks, shadows under his eyes from nights replaying Jake's plea like a bad loop. Love. He'd said it, finally, but too late, poisoned by fear. Riley became my lifeline. We'd meet at the community center 3 nights a week, the court our confessional. He'd sketch between drills, me in motion, lines fluid and fierce, while I poured out the ugliness. The vandalism on my locker, go home queer. The principal's sensitivity, assembly that felt like a funeral dirge. Riley listened without pity, just fierce nods and counterpoints drawn in charcoal. Superheroes rising from ashes, cities rebuilt by the broken. One frosty evening, after a brutal one-on-one where he schooled me with a hesitation dribble that left me flat-footed, we retreated to the bleachers, steam rising from our skin like ghosts. Why basketball? He asked, unwrapping a candy bar, breaking it halfsies. I chewed slow, chocolate melting bittersweet. Dad. He coached Pee Wee League, said it taught heart. After he died, it was mine. The one place I wasn't measured by whispers. Riley's gaze softened, tracing the scar on my knuckle from a rogue elbow last season. Art's my dad thing. He hated it, called it wasting time. But when Mom left, I drew to remember her laugh. Now, it's rebellion. Our hands found each other then, tentative, calluses rough against smooth. His thumb stroked my palm, sending sparks up my arm. Elliot, he whispered, leaning in. You're not benched. Not to me. The kiss was tentative at first, cold lips warming slow, tasting of peppermint and promise. Then deeper, his fingers tangling in my hair, pulling me closer until the world narrowed to heartbeat and heat. It wasn't fireworks like with Jake. It was a hearth fire, steady burn chasing winter's chill. We pulled apart gasping, foreheads pressed, laughter bubbling shocked and free. Chicago boy moves fast. I teased, voice husky. He grinned, wolfish, only for the ones worth chasing. From there, it bloomed quiet but fierce. Stolen moments in his Civic, parked at the edge of town where silos loomed like sentinels. Walks along the frozen river, breath fogging as we shared dreams. Me to coach someday, him to exhibit in New York. Riley met Mom over pot roast one Sunday, charming her with tales of Lake Michigan winters and a sketch of our kitchen table that made her tear up. He's a keeper, she whispered later, squeezing my hand. But Harlan doesn't forget. New Year's Eve brought the annual Hawks alumni game. Gym packed with locals nursing eggnog and grudges. I hadn't planned to go. Riley had tickets to a midnight showing of some artsy film in Wichita, but curiosity gnawed, or maybe masochism. I slipped in late, hood up, blending into the shadows by the concessions. The halftime buzzer blared, and there was Jake on the court, subbed in for an injured alum, draining threes like nothing had shattered. The crowd roared, feet stomping thunder. Our eyes met again, him slick with sweat, me rooted like oak. He jogged over during the break, jersey clinging, face a map of regret. Elliot, God, you came. Hope flickered in his eyes, dimming when he spotted my stiff posture. Look, I've been thinking. Therapy or whatever. I messed up. But what, Jake? You out me to the team? Leak that photo yourself to save your spot. The accusation slipped out venomous. I'd pieced it from whispers, Tommy's too knowing smirk. His face drained white. I didn't. I swear it was an accident. Phone got stolen at practice, next thing. Liar. The word echoed, drawing stares. I stepped closer, voice low. You let it happen. Because loving me was the real risk. He grabbed my arm, desperate. I do love you. Always have. Riley, he's just a rebound, right? Come back. We can fix this. The gym spun, betrayal fresh as blood. I wrenched free, storming out into the snow-whipped night, tears freezing on my lashes. How dare he? After the silence, the abandonment. Riley's texts lit my phone as I walked home. Where are you? Film's lame without you. But I silenced it, rage a blizzard in my veins. I didn't tell him about the confrontation. Not then. Instead, I threw myself into training, pounding the pavement at dawn, lungs burning hymns to resilience. Riley noticed the edge, the way I'd flinch at sudden touches. But he gave space, filling it with sketches of us as gladiators, swords raised against invisible foes. Spring training loomed, whispers of a new coach filtering through. Harlan's old assistant, promoted after Harlan's early retirement amid booster scandals. Optimism crackled like static, but I stayed away, volunteering at the center instead, coaching kids who dribbled with wild joy, unscarred by small-town scripts. One April afternoon, as tulips pushed through thawing soil, Riley dragged me to the quarry for a picnic. Blankets spread on mossy rock, PB and JS and his latest comic draft. We lay side by side, sun dappling through oaks, his head on my chest as I traced constellations in his curls. Promise me something, he murmured, fingers interlacing mine. Whatever happens with the team, you don't bench yourself. You're the heart of this, Elliot. I kissed his temple, salt and sun. Promise. But fate's a cruel point guard, always faking left. That night, Mom called from the diner, voice tight. Elliot, honey? Jake's here. Says it's urgent. About your dad. My blood iced. Dad? What the hell? I raced over, tires screeching into the lot slick with rain. Jake waited under the neon sign, soaked and shaking. A manila envelope clutched like contraband. Elliot, wait. He thrust it at me, eyes wild. Coach Harlan. He knew about us before the photo. Used it to cover his ass. Embezzling from boosters, betting on games. It's proof. Emails, ledgers. Dad found out, confronted him. That's why. The pieces slammed together. Dad's accident on the rig, 3 years cold. Not a heart attack, a fall, they said, harness failure. But Jake's envelope burned hot in my hands. Harlan's name scrawled in Dad's familiar scrawl. He was going to blow the whistle, Jake choked. Harlan threatened us. I kept quiet to protect you, but after the photo, I couldn't. I'm sorry. For everything. Rage and grief collided. A dunk from hell. I shoved him back, envelope crumpling. Protect me? You destroyed me. Sirens wailed distant. Cops? No, just my pulse thundering. Mom burst out, apron askew. Elliot, inside. Now. We huddled in the booth, piecing the nightmare. Harlan, the sainted coach, rotten to core. Dad's death, no accident. And Jake, complicit in silence. Love twisted into cowardice. I have to go to the cops, I said, voice steel despite the quake. Jake nodded, broken. I'll back you. All the way. But as dawn broke gray, doubt crept. Riley's face flashed, steady, true. Jake's was storm clouds, unreliable. Betrayal layered deep, but so did the boy who'd shared my firsts. Could I trust either? The station was a fluorescent tomb, coffee bitter as regret. Detective Ruiz, a no-nonsense Latina with a hawk's pin on her lapel, took the envelope, her face hardening page by page. This is big, kid. If it pans, Harlan's done. But it'll drag everyone. Team Town. I swallowed. Everyone except my dad. He deserves justice. She nodded respect. We'll start quiet. You did right coming in. Outside, Jake waited, offering a ride. I waved him off, thumbing Riley's number instead. Pick me up? Need you. He was there in minutes. Questions held back until I spilled in the passenger seat. Sobs racking as the dam broke. Riley pulled over, holding me fierce through the storm. You're not alone, he whispered. Not anymore. That weak whispers turned to howls. Harlan arrested in his office, booster board in chaos. The team splintered, some rallying silent support, others fleeing like rats. Jake texted apologies unending, but I archived them, building walls brick by bruised brick. Riley and I grew roots deeper. Prom approached, a farce I skipped, but he surprised me with a rooftop setup. String lights, takeout from the diner, slow dancing to stolen Spotify playlists under stars like scattered diamonds. My prom king, he joked, dipping me low. Laughter healed cracks I didn't know bled. But summer's heat brought the Real fire. State tryouts announced. New coach Ellis vowing rebuild. Scouts circled again, hungry for redemption arcs. Could I step back on that court? Or was the bench my new home? Summer in Harlan hit like a fast break. Humid, relentless. The air thick with cicada hum and the scent of cut grass from endless practices I watched from afar. The new coach, Ellis. A wiry ex-pro from Tulsa with a whistle around his neck like a noose. Ran drills that echoed my glory days, laughter mixing with grunts under the relentless sun. I'd park at the field's edge in Riley's Civic, sketching absent-mindedly on his pad while he napped against my shoulder. But my eyes betrayed me, tracing the court's familiar lines. You're itching, Riley said one evening, as we grilled burgers in his aunt's backyard. She'd taken him in after Chicago, a quiet widow with a green thumb and zero judgments. Smoke curled lazy from the Weber, stars pricking the twilight. I flipped a patty, grease spitting. Maybe, but what if they still see the freak? Not the player. He set down his tongs, turning me gentle by the shoulders. They see what you show, Em. And you, Elliot Hayes? You're all-American grit. His faith was a bomb, but doubt festered. The investigation dragged, Harlan out on bail, town divided like a bad pick and roll. Graffiti bloomed on the water tower. Hawks fly high, without lies. Mom got anonymous calls, hang-ups heavy with hate, but she answered each with recipes for cobbler, voice steady as Kansas bedrock. Jake hovered peripheral, a ghost in my periphery. He transferred credits to community college early, working construction to make amends. But sightings stung. Him at the gas station, pumping fuel with that same lopsided grin aimed at strangers. Once, he cornered me outside the library, envelope of more docs in hand, witness statements from old players. For your dad, he said, eyes pleading. Let me help fix what I broke. I took the papers, but not his hand. Fix starts with you, Jake. Alone. He nodded, swallowing hard, and walked away, shoulders slumped. Part of me ached. The boy who'd built forts in the woods, shared comics under porch lights. But love isn't blind. It's a spotlight, and his had flickered out. Riley and I escaped to Wichita weekends. City pulse a tonic to Harlan's stagnation. We wandered art walks, his hand in mine unapologetic, drawing stares we ignored for gelato kisses in Italian gardens. One night, at an indie theater screening Moonlight, the screen's raw ache mirrored mine. Chiron's quiet strength amid betrayals. Tears tracked silent down my face. Riley thumbed them away, whispering, "That's you, warrior heart." Back home, momentum built. Ellis posted open tryouts, no politics, just play. Mom found the flyer crumpled in my jacket, ironing it flat on the kitchen table. What's the worst? Another no? You've survived that. I signed up, heart hammering like pre-tip. The gym thrummed electric that first day. 50 hopefuls, air thick with liniment and nerves. I laced up in the corner, anonymous in sweats, until Ellis blew whistle. Run it. No names, just heart. We scrimmaged fierce, bodies colliding, sneakers chirping symphony. I slipped into rhythm, instinctive, vision tunneling to the hoop. Crossovers, pick and fades, assists crisp as autumn air. By final buzzer, sweat-drenched and soaring, Ellis clapped my back. Hayes? Welcome back, son. Roster drops Friday. The locker room buzzed post-tryout, but chill descended when Tommy lingered, towel slung low. Gutsy move, Elliot. But don't think this erases. You know, I met his gaze level, zipping my bag. Doesn't have to. Just play ball. He scoffed, but walked away, no punch, no slur. Progress or powder keg. Roster posted gold-lettered on the door. My name, third guard. Elation surged. Texts flying to Mom and Riley. Jake's congrats pinged too. Proud of you, man. I left it unread. First practice was exorcism. Ellis ran us ragged, suicide sprints till calves screamed, film sessions dissecting flaws like surgeons. Teammates nodded wary hellos. Jake avoided my lane, eyes downcast. Riley waited outside after, bear hug lifting me off feet. My MVP. We celebrated low-key drive-in movie, Top Gun on the big screen, popcorn buttery between us. Midway through Maverick's roar, Riley turned, serious. Chicago's calling, art internship, summer intensive. Starts next week. The words landed like a charge block. You're leaving. Temporary. 3 months. Then back for senior year. His hand squeezed mine. This, us, it's not a timeout. I nodded, throat tight, but fear whispered. Distance breeds drift. Jake flickered in memory. Summer apart, twisting us into strangers. He left at dawn. Civic packed with canvases and dreams. A playlist of our songs queued for the drive. I waved from the porch. Mom's coffee mug steaming sentinel beside me. The road swallowed him, leaving echo. Practice intensified, body a machine honed sharp. But nights hollowed. Bed too big. Sketches of us staring from the fridge like accusations. Jake filled voids unintended. Gym chats turning civil. Shared Gatorades after suicides. Ellis says you're starting lineup, he ventured one day, lobbing a casual pass. Yeah, you too. Neutral ground, fragile as tissue. Town simmered. Harlan's trial loomed. Depositions pulling ghosts. Dad's colleagues swearing sabotage. Boosters crumbling under cross-exam. Mom testified poised. Voice cracking only on my husband deserved better. I sat front row, Riley's texts, your steel, love, vibrating pocket support. Guilty verdict dropped mid-July. Harlan led away in cuffs. Face ashen as overripe corn. Cheers erupted outside courthouse, but mine choked bittersweet. Justice, yes, but Dad's laugh absent forever. Riley called that night, voice crackling from the L, heard the news. You okay? Getting there. I traced his last sketch. A phoenix court, flames to wings. Miss you. Miss you more. Countdowns on. August scorched, practices dawn to dusk. Lineup solidified. Me and Jake co-captains. Ellis's nod to unity. Tension crackled unspoken. Passes crisp, but glances loaded. One post-drill huddle, Ellis pulled us aside. Team's only as strong as it seems. Searching, boys. We nodded, but seems frayed private. Jake cornered me in the showers. Steam veiling, voices echo. Elliot about before. I was scared. Of losing everything. But losing you? Worse. Water drummed relentless. I toweled off slow, heart warring. Scared's no excuse. Riley, he sees me. All of me. Jake's eyes shadowed hurt. Does he know about your panic attacks? The way you hum Dad's old tunes when nightmares hit. Intimacy's blade, cutting deep. That's not yours anymore. He deflated. Fair. But if he breaks you, I'm here. Words lingered poison. doubt seeding as Riley's calls grew sparse. Internship grind, late nights in lofts. Love you, texts read, but frequency waned like summer light. Preseason opener loomed, scouts inbound. I poured sweat sacred, but fractures spidered. Tommy's side-eye fouls, whispers of distraction, revived. Ellis benched me first quarter, rust, he said, but I said watch. Halftime, down 12, locker room tomb. Jake's voice rose. Elliott's our spark. Who's with me? Murmurs swelled, reluctant to roar. Ellis nodded me in third. I exploded, steals, threes raining fire. Final buzzer. 78-65 win. My 22 points MVP glow. Riley FaceTimed postgame, beaming from a gallery opening. Star. Wish I was there. Me too. Kiss blown to screen, but static hummed distance. Then, the call that shattered. Riley's aunt, voice trembling. Car accident on I-35. He's in hospital. Wichita Mercy. Stable, but world grade. I grabbed keys, Jake appearing unbidden. I'll drive. Go. Highway blurred tears. His hand on gearshift, silent solidarity. Hospital hall's antiseptic hell. Beeps mocking. Riley pale in bed, bruises blooming, but eyes lit when I burst in. Elliot. Thought you'd miss the encore. I collapsed beside him, holding careful. Never. Broken ribs, concussion, 2 weeks sidelined. Jake shuttled me daily, unspoken truce deepening. Nights we'd talk dad stories, Jake's regrets pouring like rain. I betrayed us both. He admitted one eve, vending machine coffee steaming. But seeing you fight makes me want better. Boundaries blurred soft, but Riley anchored virtual chess games, playlists of inside jokes. He mended slow, discharged to ants, internship paused. Championship path clarified. Regional powerhouse schedule. State semis dream. But shadows loomed, Harlan's allies on booster board. Sabotage whispers. One crisp October dawn. Anonymous note in my locker. Quit or regret. Fear coiled, but Riley's voice echoed. Rebellion. I crumpled it, resolve steel. Game on. October's chill sharpened edges. Leaves flaming red against gunmetal skies. Wind whipping banners taut along Main Street. The Hawks rode a 5-game streak. My start's a rhythm reclaimed. Crossovers slicing defenses. Assists threading needles. Scouts scribbled furious in stands. Whispers of redemption arc. Floating like smoke. Mom framed clippings on the fridge. Her smile genuine now. Shifts easing with community support swelling post-trial. But threats nipped heels. Notes escalated. Slashed tires on my truck. Dead roses on the porch. Harlan's echo. Loyalists lurking. Ellis beefed security, but tension hummed under skin. Jake and I co-led seamless on court, off at a minefield. His glances lingered too warm, confessions spilling in quiet moments. Every game, I play for us, for what we lost. I pull away gentle. Jake, that's past tense. Riley's present. He'd nod, but hurt etched deep, a fault line waiting quake. Riley returned mid-month, leaner but luminous, canvases bursting urban grit. Aunt dropped him curbside, hug fierce before driving off. He crashed into me, literal, backpack thumping foot, grinning wolf. Missed this court jester. We devoured time ravenous. Bonfire remakes minus ghosts, stargazing on quilted truck bed, his sketches evolving. Us as dual protagonists, intertwined arcs. Intimacy rebuilt layered. Tentative touches to tangled sheets, but chaste, souls bared over whispered fears. Chicago showed me scale, he said one night, fingers mapping my ribs. But home? It's you. Doubt's whisper persisted. Jake's reliability a siren call amid chaos. Regionals hit hard. Quarterfinals versus Derby. A buzzsaw team with a 7-footer clogging paint. We trailed by 8 at half, my shots clanging iron. Locker room. Ellis paced fire. Dig deep, Hawks. Heart over height. Jake slapped my back. We've got this. Like old times. But old times betrayed. Third quarter, screen set blind, his man blew by, dunk thundering. Coach yanked me. Focus, Hayes. Riley watched from bleachers, thumbs up steady, but my head swam. Notes, Jake's eyes, Harlan's shadow. Fourth, we clawed back, my 3 tying at buzzer. Overtime blur. Steal, fast break. Jake's no-look to my layup. Win, 92-89. Hugs electric, but Jake's lingered. Breath on neck. Knew you had it. Post-game, shadows waited. Truck keyed vicious in lot. Freak. Glass shattered. Cops dusted Prince futile. Ruiz called. Harlan's cellmate talking. Inside job. Fear solidified resolve. I confided in Ellis next practice, voice steady. Someone wants me gone, but I'm not. He gripped shoulder paternal. Then lead son. Show him why. Jake overheard, confronting later by dumpsters. Reek of trash mirroring rot. Let me help. I know Harlan's crowd. My dad's old poker buddies. Alliance tempted, but trust thin. Why now? Guilt. Love. He said, simple, eyes raw. The kind that doesn't quit. I walked away conflicted, Riley waiting with hot cocoa. He read me like sketch. Talk. Over drive-through tacos I spilled threats, Jake's offer. Riley's jaw ticked, but voice even, your call. But remember, team's family, not blood. Semis versus Wichita East loomed, arena electric with 5,000 souls. Pre-game ritual. Mom's pre-game pancakes, Riley's lucky charm. A doodled hawk on my wrist tape. Jake nodded across huddle, truce implicit. Tip-off heart stopped. East's press suffocating, turnovers piling. Down 15 end 1, booze cascading. Halftime tomb, Ellis diagramming fury, but my mind fractured. Jake pulled me aside. Breathe, we're unbreakable. His hand on mine, brief, electric, ignited spark. Third quarter surge. We synced mythic, doubles trapping guards. My pull-ups arcing true. Tied at horn, crowd delirium. Overtime thriller. East up 2, 10 ticks left. I inbound to Jake, he drove baseline, foul, and 1 plus freebie. Led ours. Their desperation heave airball. Final, 78-76. State berth secured. Gym erupting confetti storm. Championship week frenzy. Wichita's dome, national feeds, scouts salivating. Media swarmed, interviews probing comeback kid, sidestepping scars. Riley fielded calls gracious, mom beaming sidelines. Jake and I posed twin captains, flashes blinding, but his smile private. We did it. Nights, Riley grounded. Movie marathons, his head on lap as I stroked hair. Proud, he'd murmur. But Jake's orbit tightened. Study sessions for finals, bleeding strategy talks. Laughter slipping nostalgic. One eve, post-film review, he lingered porch light. Elliot, if Riley wasn't. Stop. Firm, but pulse betrayed. He's it. He left. Truck fading taillights regret. Championship eve, bomb dropped. Anonymous email to Ellis. C-seat boosters, press. Grainy photo, me and Jake post-quarry. Embraced too close. Caption. Real distraction? Panic tsunami. Ellis called emergency meet. Face thunder. This changes nothing. But team, eyes forward. Locker room fracture. Tommy sneering, others shifting uneasy. Jake white-knuckled bench. It's fake. Old pick. Twisted. But damage seeped. Practice ragged, passes wild. I confronted Jake alone, Jim empty echo. Who sent it? I don't. His face crumpled. Harlan. From jail. Payphone trace. But he used my name. Said I'd regret testifying. Betrayal bisected fresh. Your name? You covered for him before. How do I know? You don't. He stepped close, desperate. But believe this. I'd burn for you. Heat rose, history colliding. I shoved him back, but he caught wrists, pull inevitable. Kiss crashed. Fierce, forbidden, tasting salt and sin. Wrong, electric. I broke first, gasping. No, can't. He released, shattered. Then end it. For real. I fled to Riley, collapsing bed's edge. Truth choked confession, but omitted kiss coward's grace? He held silent, sensing storm. Championship first, us after. Dome night arrived, air thick anticipation. 10,000 packed, banners waving sea. East rematch, revenge fire. National anthem swelled, chills racing. Tip to us, me driving, crossover silk, layup splash. Lead 5-0 early, crowd roar jet engine. But East countered vicious, press choking, elbows illicit. Halftime tied, bruises blooming. Lockers acrid sweat, Ellis rallying. Legacy boys, for Harlan, Kansas. Third magic. Jake Steele to my fast break dunk. Posterized, feed viral instant. 10. But fourth, collapse. Fouls piling, East free throws ice cold. Down 3, 2 o'clock left. Timeout huddle fevered. Ellis, Hayes, set the tone. Jake's eyes locked mine. Forgiveness? Fire. Inbounds, screen for me, 3 swish. Tied. East ball drive, kick out, open 3. Iron. Our turn. Pick and roll, Jake's hesitation to my corner, rim out. Rebound East, fast south. 110 down 3. Final possession. Clock ticks venom. I ISO top, East guard sagging, step back, prayer. Arcing perfect, nothing but net. Lead 78-77. 0:05. Their heave blocked by Tommy, unlikely hero. Buzzer wails. Championship. Chaos. Teammates piling, tears streaming, mom rushing floor embrace. Riley vaults barrier, kiss triumphant amid flashbulbs. Jake hangs back, grin genuine through wet eyes. You did it, Cap. Trophy hoist, confetti blizzard, but heart splits, joy laced ache. Press conference glow, but questions probe. Overcoming adversity? I lean mic, voice steady. Adversity's just the warm-up. Heart wins games. Backstage, Riley pulls me aside, eyes searching. That photo. It's noise. But Jake. Nothing. Lie bitter. Just us. But doubt rooted deep. Victory sweet, but unfinished business brewed. The championship high lingered like afterglow. Parades down Main with fire trucks blaring. Keys to the city pressed into my palm by a mayor who weeks prior dodged my gaze. Harlan High Gym enshrined the banner. Hawks 2026 state champs. My jersey shadowboxed in glass case beside Jake's. Mom hosted block party. Neighbors' tentative toasts turning effusive with Schlitz tallboys. Potato salad heaped communal. Proud as punch, old-timers clapped my back, slurring past sins. But glory's veneer cracked private. Riley and I claimed victory lap. Road trip to Ozarks. Cabin rented cheap with aunt's discount. Lake waters lapped lazy as we kayaked dawn. His laughter echoing off bluffs. Evenings by fire pit. Esmore sticky. Stories spun. My dad's fishing yarns. His mom's jazz records spinning in cramped apartments. Intimacy flowered tender. Hands linked stargazing. Bodies curled under quilts. Whispers mapping futures intertwined. You're my North Star, he murmured one night. Fingers tracing constellations on my chest. Don't fade. Kissed him slow, vow silent. But Jake haunted periphery. Texts congratulatory. Then sparse. A graduation card tucked in mailbox. You shone. Always will. J. Graduation dawned humid. Cap's airborne confetti mimic. Valedictorian droned aspirations. I sat mid-row, Riley's knee bumping mine reassuring. Diploma in hand. Cum laude, Scout's letters crisp pocket. I scanned crowd. Mom dabbing eyes, Jake in back row, nod subtle salute. Post-ceremony mingle, he approached rain-slick grass. Congrats, MVP. KU full ride. Yeah. You too. Same dorm. Irony bitter. We dreamed double room freshman year. Now strangers bunking fate. He shrugged, duffel at feet. Early orientation. Figured you'd need space. Smart. Or self-preservation. Jake. About the kiss. Forget it. But eyes pleaded opposite. Or don't. Your call. I walked away unresolved. Riley waiting with lays from his aunt. Hawaiian flair ironic in Kansas. Ready for adventure? College beckoned. Lawrence, hills rolling emerald. Jayhawks blue bleeding into veins. We unpacked sweat-drenched, posters thumbtacked. My championship pick, his Chicago skyline. Dorms buzzed chaos, roomies intros awkward, pizza parties forging bonds quick. But freshman haze hit turbulent. Classes devoured, calc proofs knotted brain, lit seminars dissecting identity like vivisections. Basketball walk-on tryouts loomed, but ankle tweak from summer scrimmage sidelined weeks. Riley thrived, art studio haunt, murals blooming campus walls. His name whispered in prof circles. Jake orbited unavoidable. Same hall, chance encounters in CAF turning routine. Coffee runs evolve chats, classes griped, Harlan nostalgia laced rye. Remember coach's clipboard rants? He'd chuckle, foam on lip. Yeah, good times. Lie partial. Good tangled inextricable with pain. One stormy November eve, power flickering quad, he knocked dorm door, Riley at late critique. Movie? Old ritual. Rocky? Fitting. We hunkered beanbags, popcorn bowl bridge, cheers swelling as Balboa climbed steps. Post-credits, rain lashing windows, he turned vulnerable. Elliot, I can't pretend. That kiss. It was goodbye. But heart stubborn. Confession hung heavy. I froze. Riley's key jingle phantom in hall. Jake, Door swung. Riley, soaked sketches under arm, eyes widening tableau. Silence glacial. Bad timing. No. Jake rose, graceful exit. Night, guys. Riley peeled wet layers, voice edged. What was that? Honest talk. Old wounds. Truth half. Kisses ghost loomed unspoken. He nodded, but frost lingered. Dinner's quiet, sketches solo. Distance crept insidious, my practices resuming pulling hours. Walk on success. JV squad. Minutes scarce but fire rekindled. Winter break homecoming thawed brief. Mom's tree twinkled. Harlan dusted snow serene. Jake visited once. Awkward cocoa with mom, stories swapped surface. He's trying, she said later, washing mugs. Forgiveness ain't weakness, baby. Back Lawrence, thaw stalled. Riley's exhibit opening, downtown loft, wine flowing, admirers clustering. He shone, anecdotes charming, but my toast faltered. To visionaries, lame distant, after-party cab ride silent, his hand withdrawing. Elliot, we're drifting. Panic surged. No, tryouts classes. It's Jake. Blunt. I see it. The pull. Denial dyed lips. It's history. Your future. But past echoes loud. Hurt raw. I won't compete with ghosts. Breakup brewed slow poison. Belongings packed mutual. Final hug porch swing. Tears mingling rain. Love you always, he whispered. Civic taillights fading echo. Devastation hollowed. Practices blurred tears. Shots sailing wild. Jake found me courtside post-midnight. Ball thumping rhythm solitary. Heard. I'm sorry. Don't. Voice cracked. Your fault in a way. He sat close, shoulder solid. Then let me help heal. Time blurred bomb. Spring semester we rebuilt cautious. Study buddies to dates tentative, movies sans subtext. Laughter returned reluctant. Then free. Arcade nights. Duckpin bowling where he let me win. Kisses rekindled porch swings. Tentative to torrent. But ghosts lingered. Riley's text sparse. Happy for you, laced ache. Summer internship, sports camp counselor, kids wide-eyed dribblers. I coached heart, dad's lessons alive. Jake joined staff, synergy natural. Drills tag team, campfires ghost stories. One starry Adirondack eve, fire dying embers, he turned. Elliot Hayes, second chances? Worth it. Yes. Surrender sweet, history reclaimed wiser. Fall senior year, varsity breaks earned, minutes stacking, scouts renewed buzz. Riley's path diverged. Chicago MFA acceptance, gallery showings blooming. We met neutral, coffee shop crossroads, hugs platonic fond. You glow, he said, genuine. Found your play. You too. Pride true, no regret. Championship redux. Big 12 tourney semis. Crowd thundering Allen Fieldhouse. Jake and I co-captains again, passes telepathic. Final possession, down 1, my drive, kick to his corner 3, swish. Win, roar eternal. Post-game, trophy gleam, he pulled me close amid chaos. For us, all of it. Life unfolded human tapestry. Graduations double, jobs, me assistant coach KU, him illustrator rising. Weddings small, Harlan backyard. Mom toasting tears. Trials faded, but lessons etched. Love's not uniform straight. Its arc unpredictable, bending toward light. Years on, I bench press young guards, whispering, play heart, not fear. And in quiet courtside moments, Jake's hand finds mine. Steady, sure, different, yes, but champions all. In Harlan's shadow we rose, style unbroken,